The Louisiana Purchase by Mason and Diller. The Louisiana Purchase was an 82,800 square mile portion of the land west of the Mississippi and east of the Rockies, all the way up to Canada. It was owned by the French before this land and was bought by the U.S. and was called Louisiana. Well, very little land is in today's Louisiana, but makes up most of the Midwest and the Plainlands. Jefferson bought this land from the French, and there were some problems with this politically. Jefferson is a Republican Democrat, and they respect the small government. A small government political party makes a huge country decision. The Federalists were not happy, calling Jefferson a hypocrite, and there were arguments in Congress. Jefferson hired William Clark and Meriwether Lewis in 1803, but before the purchase was even bought, Jefferson was asking Congress to found an expedition force to explore. Meriwether Lewis was born in 1774, and President Jefferson asked him to be his private secretary. William Clark was born in 1770 and was an Army officer in 1792 to 1796. Another key factor to the success of the expedition is a Native American woman named Sacagawea. This Native American woman, born to the Agataki tribe in 1788, was kidnapped at the age of 12 by a raid by the Hilgo clan. She was then sold to a non-consensual marriage at 13. She helped the expedition by building canoes and mapping land and gave knowledge of the land. Taught how to hunt and fish, and while doing all this, she was carrying a baby. Because of her and the things she did, the U.S. honored her by putting her on the dollar coin in the year 2000. During the trip, Lewis and Clark discovered a whole 178 plants and 122 animals on their journey. After the harsh Rockies and more traveling, the expedition reached the Pacific. Now they didn't know it at the time, but finding the Pacific and showing that they were going east was possible started a dynasty, a manifest destiny. The manifest dynasty was a fancy term for why people were moving east. Now almost all groups, families had a different dream in mind. Some set out for gold, while others religious freedom, and some even for new land and escaping debt. If you got tons in debt and you moved east and survived, there's a low chance of these debt collectors chasing you. How many died from disease, but some were attacks, and surprisingly more people and kids died from wagon accidents than natives killing them. Now another explorer named Charles Floyd went on the Lewis and Clark expedition. He died due to illness on the trip, and he thought he was healing, even writing about it in his diary, but later he died. It was stated that he was a good, strong man, and was sad that he had to go before reaching the Pacific.